to the second of the Purple Sofa podcasts. My name's Andy Steele. I'm one of the directors at 360, and today I'm joined by Sean Maloney.
Afternoon, Andy.
And our special guest today is Craig Franklin from Hull Kingston Rovers.
Good afternoon.
How are you both?
Good, yeah. It's Friday. It's always a good day, Friday.
It might not be Friday when people are listening to the podcast, though.
It's Friday somewhere.
We'll make it feel like Friday for all the listeners. Second of our podcast, the first podcast, still available on 360 TV on YouTube, plus all of the usual places for podcasts. A little bit of a different format this week. We've ditched the cakes, unfortunately. Sean, you'll be devastated about that.
I've been starving myself all morning as well, so I'm gutted.
That's the only reason I turned up, to be fair.
Well, I'm sorry. We'll see if we can get you a chippy tea on the way home. So today we've got a section on business news, mainly focused around what's going on in the wonderful city of Hull. We've got a section on the budget, which happened last week or the week before.
Yeah, last Wednesday.
Yeah. Then our guest slot, Craig's going to be talking about the things that are going on at Hull Kingston Rovers at the moment, with a particular emphasis on the recent... Now, I was about to say rebranding, but it's not a rebranding, is it, Craig?
No, it's an evolution of the crest, and that's a very subtle but important difference.
And I'm sure you'll tell us what those differences are later. Can't wait for that. Small section on grassroots sports, and then we'll finish off with the highlight of the podcast, Sean's Grumble of the Week.
Thanks, Andy, yeah.
Are you going to keep to one this week?
I'm going to keep to one this week, yeah.
Okay.
It's been burning a hole in my soul for a while, so...
Wow. Can't wait. Going to start with business news. I suppose the biggest news of this week is the announcement that interest rates are staying at the historical low rate of 0.1%, although they are hinting that with inflation rises that we're currently seeing and further increases that are imminent, they are hinting that interest rates are going to go up soon, aren't they, Sean?
Yeah. I think we'll probably touch on it later when we do the budget, is that they're trying to control kind of inflation by using the interest rates as a mechanism. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out and how that affects people and lending, etc.
We discussed in the last podcast the fact that inflation was big news at the moment. It seems like everything's going up, whether it be stuff you're buying for your house or products or services that you're buying for your business. Everyone's talking about energy costs at the moment, and individuals' energy bills are going up, but for businesses that are large consumers, a lot of them are really worried, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think what's traditionally happened when you've had a recession or an issue with the economy is that they've tried to get people to spend their way out of the recession, and with things rising, it's really proven really difficult. So I think any measures they're going to try and adopt will try and put people's a few extra quid in people's pockets, which is hard even with costs rising. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge.
It cost me, I went for a beer on Tuesday night and it was £5.50 for a pint.
Was that in Hull?
Was that in London?
Hull city centre. I couldn't believe it. It actually genuinely made me think, is it worth it? I'd rather just get a crate and invite my mate over.
Well, there was some change in the budget to try and stop that, Craig.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously with some of the changes, like I said in the budget, around craft ale and the reducing of duty and stuff. So you'd have thought there might be a passing on of some of that saving, but if you're paying £5.50 for a specialty beer, it doesn't sound like it to me.
Other business news: Facebook have announced that they're rebranding, or is it an evolution of the Facebook crest?
Well, it's technically not a rebrand, is it? Because there's no changes to Facebook as a brand name or WhatsApp or Instagram. I guess, and I don't know how many people will know this, but we all think of Google and we think of that as the company name, but they're called Alphabet, aren't they? So it's they're going to create their structure in the same way that Google create theirs. So it'll be Metaverse at the top and then all the sub brands underneath. So in the same way we don't say Google Mobile, we say Android. I guess it's the same way we'll continue to say Facebook and Instagram, but they'll have that new brand at the top for all that crazy stuff that there was talking about.
They're talking about almost a replacement for the internet.
Yeah.
And that's when I stopped listening. That just blew my mind, that did.
Yeah, it's like a almost like an episode of Black Mirror, if you've ever seen that on Netflix. It was the stuff that he's talking about is just mind blowing, and he, you know, obviously some of it is going to be long into the future, but some of it probably won't be. And it's just there's a really long, like it's about a 2-hour keynote presentation that they did on it, and it's some of it is just completely bonkers, like a sci-fi movie.
There's been quite a lot of bad press around social media and the effects of it as well, Craig. Do you think that's prompted some of the reimagining or the rebrand or the new vision?
Yeah, I think there was a leak, wasn't there, last week about the way their algorithm works. And so now when there's a post and you can either hit like, smile, laugh, angry face, and there's another one which I can't remember. The way they weight their algorithm is that the angry face outstrips the like emoji 5-1.
Wow, that's really negative, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then we wonder why we see so much negativity in the world, and it feels like a bit of an echo chamber of bad news. And you have to question the psyche of someone who thought that would be a good way of setting up their algorithm. And if they flipped that, what a difference, what a world it might be if the positive stuff was coming to the top all the time.
So if you see a bit of fake news and you dislike it, then that's automatically promoting the fake news, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pushing it above potentially the true stories that the more reputable brands are putting out.
Exactly.
Bonkers
Indeed, Andy.
So a bit more locally, loads of stuff going on down Humber Street still. I've seen that Bert's have opened a new outlet right at the top of Humber Street, which is where the awesome gallery used to be. And Sean, I think you actually went to was it a soft launch last night?
Yeah, it was a soft launch. The food was amazing. I'll just have to say that straight off the bat.
What did you have?
Well, I was fortunate enough to go with a few people, and we decided to have just a normal, like, bread and olives and oil starters. But then we had one of every main and just shared it between us.
How many was that?
About 10. And the food was everything was absolutely spot on. And then we tested out the ice creams, the gelato, should I say. And I discovered that...
Gelato.
Sorry, gelato. And I discovered that 3 scoops of gelato is too much for one man. Although it was very nice.
What was your favourite flavour?
Oh, amaretto and cherry was absolutely amazing.
Maybe we can have a tasting on podcast number 3.
Oh, that would be good. Shout out to Bert's for bringing that in if they can.
Yeah, there might be some logistical issues around that. The October 360 October Steps Challenge. We mentioned that in the last podcast. I'm ashamed to say that we didn't win the Steps Challenge, did we, Sean? Me and you were both in Team 360, weren't we?
Yeah, we was outstripped a little bit, or outstepped maybe, should I say.
Outstepped, yeah.
Yeah.
So the 1 point were the winners with 2.1 million steps. Between 5 of them, that's pretty good going, isn't it?
That's very good going. Although we did 1.8.
Well, but we weren't even second, were we?
No, somebody did Goss
Sharks Team A and Goss Sharks Team B beat us. And I think Stubbs Construction also beat us.
It's not about results, and it's about performance. I'll just say that.
Who was the winner in Team 360, Sean? I can't remember.
I think it was you. I mean...
Oh, was it?
I think that's because you walked to work and home again for a couple of days a week, which was, a fantastic effort.
Yeah, well, I took the challenge very seriously.
It's quite brave of you, I must admit, as well.
Yeah, I couldn't walk for a week because of the blisters, but that's a different story for another day.
I did, walk to the pub.
You did, yeah.
I did.
It was quite a long walk, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 6 miles. Yeah.
Yeah. More local news. Part of the budget, but the government announced that Hull's bid for fund. I can't remember the exact name of the project, but they've won a load of funding for Albion Square and White Frigate. Obviously, as residents of Albion Square, that's good news for 360, but also good news for the city centre, I think.
Yeah, I live in the city, and it's great to see more and more investment coming into it. To go back to Tuesday night, it was reasonably busy when we first got out about 8 o'clock, and by 9 o'clock it was a ghost town. So there's also been some news about new apartments being approved on the old Heaven and Hell site, and for me, the more people we can get living in the city centre, the better for those local businesses, the more vibrant it will be. And if you've ever been out in Leeds or Manchester on a Tuesday, it doesn't matter what night you go out in those kind of towns, there's always people around and an atmosphere, and that's what we need to try and replicate in the centre of Hull. Yeah,
and I think when you've got a lot of people living in a city centre, they obviously care about the area and the community, etc., and they're keeping an eye out for things going on that shouldn't be going on, aren't they? So the more people you can have living in the city centre, it's like a snowball effect, innit? It attracts more businesses, which then attracts more people to live in there, and the area just improves in all respects. So it'll be interesting to see how they spend. I think we know how they're spending the money on Albion Square. Not really sure what the plans are for White Frigate. And we also found out that they're moving the Ice Arena from its current location to the spare land near Bonus Arena as well, didn't we? Yeah. Which is, I think that's a positive step. One of the criticisms that Hull gets is that everything's really spread out. So I think bringing the Ice Arena a little bit closer to everything else can only be a positive, really. Don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I agree. When I was out last night at the New Berts, that I had people with us that was from out of town, and it's the first time they've really seen Humber Street. So it was really good to see their reaction on, how much Hull had improved itself just on that sort of development, and obviously with the housing coming behind it, it should just add more weight of people into the city centre as well. And I think there's some exciting developments going on, and it'd be good, as Craig said, to see the development and see more people out on a wet Tuesday night in Hull, but where there's lots of things to do. Hopefully, live music, a cafe sort of culture with bars would be great, or anything like that to carry on the continued development. Hull would be fantastic.
Another big development that's opening in December, I believe, is the old House of Fraser Hammonds building opposite the station. So that's been rebranded. It's Hammonds of Hull, or HOH. I've been watching that. It's been really interesting seeing everything that's going on there. I know Rescue have moved into the first floor. They've opened a call centre there. And I believe the basement and the ground floor are going to be a mixture of sort of food outlets, drink outlets. I know the vinyl record shop in Beverley, its name escapes me.
Is that Bug Records, is it?
Yeah.
Bug Records?
Yeah, they've got an outlet there. They released the first pictures of inside it earlier this week, and it looks amazing. Can't wait to sort of have a visit there and see what's going on and grab something to eat and drink. It's obviously a huge building within the city centre, and it's the first thing visitors see when they leave the train station or leave St Stephen's. So, it's really important that we get that building back into use, I think.
I'm really excited for this one. I've been to, obviously these kind of concepts are commonplace, I think, in America and probably down in London. Just to get local independent food. And what's great about it is if you go with a group of mates, you can all get different food. You just meet in the middle. I imagine the tables won't be designated to a specific restaurant or outlet. So I might get Thai, you might get, I don't know.
Salad.
Salad. I'm really excited for this. So again, back to the earlier point, I noticed their opening hours, and fair play to them because they're committing to every night until pretty late. And I hope people get out and support it and back it because it could be a really good asset for the city.
Yeah, I think they've got live music in there as well. So again, that'll just add to the sort of like atmosphere. I like Craig. Like Craig said, I think it'd be really exciting.
Yeah, and I think the last bit of news we wanted to talk about was the Mossy Farewell goodbye dinner that I know you two attended at the Hilton last Saturday. Looked like an amazing event, very emotional, lots of money raised, which is fantastic. what's your abiding memory of the evening, Craig?
The hacker. So Moss's teammates, and not even teammates, players he's not even played with, but from the sport, did an impromptu hacker. And I was fortunate to be sat quite close to the front, so I got almost the real experience of what it's like to see those blokes kind of staring at you in the eye, and obviously all the movements and dances that they make. So that was an unreal experience, and Mossy, so humble the whole evening. Like, it was just, you could tell he was almost embarrassed the whole evening that that many people was there. It was a great turnout. There was over 500 in the room, and you could tell he kind of struggled with that a little bit, because he's such a humble guy. He doesn't really like all that attention. But it was just fantastic to see sports fans from all sides of the city, not just Hull KR fans, and the local business getting behind him and giving him a real big send off.
Yeah, you enjoyed it, Sean?
Yeah, as Craig said, it was how humble Mossy is. As Craig said, he found it hard to comprehend what was being done for him, but it was just it was an amazing emotional night to give a fantastic human being a great send off. So obviously everybody wishes him well, and hopefully continues on with his progress.
Yeah, I mean, every photo that I saw, he just had his famous legendary smile on. I saw the artwork that the artist Chess had done, and that was sort of unveiled on the evening, wasn't it? And that was auctioned off, and again a load of money raised in that respect. And I think I'm right in saying that you can actually buy the prints of it, with, again, all profits going to the Mossy Foundation. So still an opportunity to help raise money for a great guy if you're into your art.
There was also an amazing Mossy rap as well, which I think you can download, which you can contribute to Mossy's cause as well. So it's well worth checking out. It was really good. Really interesting. Really great night. Really great guy.
Great, so that's the end of the business news slot.
360 Chartered Accountants brings you fresh, forward-thinking heroes of accountancy. This week's episode.
Oh, there's not enough hours in the flipping day. Oh no, my accounts and invoicing are stopping me from running my actual business.
Never fear, madam. 360 Chartered Accountants are here. Let us handle this.
Oh, you're good, aren't you?
Thank you. We're known to be great between the spreadsheets.
Yeah, well, don't get too chuffed with you, Sen. Hey, can I get on with keeping my customers happy now?
Of course you can, madam.
Good. And next time, use the flipping door instead of the window.
Stay tuned to 360 Chartered Accountants, Albion Street, Hull. Heroes of accountancy. Accounts, tax, solid business advice to help you grow. Call Hull 427-360 or visit 360accountants.co.uk.
So this section of the podcast, we're going to talk about last week's budget. Sean, what were the main points of the budget? I suppose the ones that stood out to me, the extension to the R&D, research and development tax credits that you can claim.
Yeah, that's right. You can get certain costs that you expend against to use against R&D, and they've extended that to include cloud computing and data collection now, which recognises the way that people are using the internet and technology to gather data and to do research. So that's been added into the list of allowable costs, which is good.
So it may open it up to businesses that have been doing R&D but expending money in the wrong types of areas. It might open it up to them now.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
But those that are currently doing R&D claims, they may be able to increase them because they're able to claim extra things that they weren't able to previously.
Absolutely correct. And there was one little thing on the R&D is that next year from April 23, they're talking about a lot of the costs that have to be expended within the UK. In case you've got any costs outside of the UK, you've just got to be careful whether they are allowable for the tax credits. So that's something to keep an eye out, just to try and keep more of the research in the UK, I believe.
And the research and development tax credits, as we always say, it's not just for businesses that walk around in white coats, is it?
Absolutely not.
A whole array of different activities that some people might find surprising.
It is about innovation, development of process of a product, and it, as you rightly said, it's not about white men people in white coats looking at things like that. It's everyday decisions, everyday problem solving for customers. If you're solving a problem for a customer, there's a chance you might be doing R&D. So it's really worth exploring.
I think the thing that excited me the most in the there wasn't a lot going on in the budget, but the extension of the £1 million annual investment allowance to March 23 is good news, and it helps businesses that have plans for major capital investment. It helps them. It gives them a little bit longer to do it, basically, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and as well as that, you've still got the super deduction that's out there as well. So again, the two massive incentives to look at capital expenditure and growth of a business. So it's a really good time if you're looking to grow, to look at what your future capital expenditure is and perhaps accelerate that sort of program if you was thinking of delaying it.
A few changes or extensions to the business rates relief that's around at the moment. A new one was this business improvement relief, whereby if you extend your premises, there's no rates to pay for a period of time. So again, that's good news for businesses that are looking at expanding, improving factories, warehouses, etc.
Yeah, there's that, and then obviously there was part of the budget was support for hospitality. So these, the extensions of the business rates, reducing business rates by 50% for anybody in hospitality in the leisure sector, with a cap on, and retail. Again, is another measure designed to try and help people, either redress the balance or grow. Another
area that there were some business owners were perhaps a little bit worried about was changes to capital gains tax, increasing capital gains tax, perhaps scrapping some of the reliefs that are available for entrepreneurs. We thought they were perhaps going to look at that in the budget 6 months ago. Nothing happened, and once again, he's left it alone this time.
Yeah, that's right. And with our accounting circles, that sounds grand, doesn't it? Within our the industry, that was one of the things that was like the hot topic, was whether we would align the capital gains tax rates with income tax. But again, they've not done anything. There was maybe one slight change where they've changed the reporting timeline for reporting sales of residential properties if you have to pay tax. That's gone from 30 days to 60 days. But I suspect it might be just a delay of redressing the imbalance between capital gains taxes and income tax rates. So it might be something that's coming in the April budget 2022.
I know a lot of the corporate solicitors have been very busy in the run-up to the last few budgets, haven't they, with people worried about changes to capital gains tax, maybe looking to accelerate the sale of their businesses, or the retirement or winding up of companies that are no longer needed. And I guess that'll continue until they do make a change. Absolutely, definitely.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, the more and more people are seeing, we're either looking at buying companies or selling companies. I think that's the key trigger. A lot of people are trying to get it in while they can.
Also announced that they call it the national living wage, which is really confusing because there's also the real living wage amount, but they're increasing the national living wage or national minimum wage, depending on what you want to call it, to £9.50 from 1st of April. I suppose that's good news if you're someone that's earning the national minimum wage. If you're an employer who rely on people in that sort of pay bracket, then you've got to think about increasing your prices or reducing your profits going forwards, don't you, Sean?
Yeah, you do. And you've obviously got the changes to national insurance as well, which will have an impact. With an extra 1.25% going on stuff. So there's a few things to budget for or to look at how it would affect your margin or your overheads. Definitely things need to be factored into.
I think with the increases in national minimum wage, the increases in employers' national insurance, inflation, etc., looking at budgets and regularly updating them and looking at your costs and your prices, it's never been more important, has it?
No, we strongly endorse it anyway, and it's just become prevalent now. A lot of people are looking at all sorts of different areas to see where they are with costs. Particularly if people are looking to grow, normal to look at funding, you normally have to produce projections, business plans, forecasts. So, understanding your numbers is absolutely key, and understanding where they're going to go is even more important than ever before.
Interesting that for the first time ever, the national minimum wage of £9.50 will be the same as the real living wage amount that I referred to earlier. Now, it may be that the real living wage increases in the near future, given everything we've talked about with inflation, etc. But clearly, the government are trying to get the national minimum wage on a par with what the actual cost of living is. The real living wage in London's actually slightly higher than the £9.50 for obvious reasons. But they've also made a pledge in the budget to increase the national minimum wage for 21 to 22-year-olds to the same level as 23-year-olds. So, the credit to them where credit's due. Again, depending on where you sit on the fence in this respect, they are trying to increase people's wages.
Yeah, and I think, as we said in the business news, people are trying to get a few more pound in everybody's pocket to try and get people spending within the economy. So obviously, making changes like this is trying to do that. Trying to give people a bit more disposable income. Obviously, you highlighted about rising costs. Petrol prices, fuel prices are going up. Obviously, part of the budget was the fact that they'd frozen the fuel duty as well. So they're trying to control costs and increase income, which hopefully people will then utilise within their economy.
Do you watch the budget, Craig, or is it?
I do, yeah. Very much with two hats on as well. So, from a personal finance point of view, I obviously take an interest because it's going to affect me at the end of each month, but also from a commercial point of view of what we do at Hull KR. So for us, we budget December to November. So our budget was set for next year, and now clearly we need to put a 6.6% increase into the wage budget because that's what it is pro rata. So I kind of see both sides on it. I've got an interest. I would say that it's a real difficult one, isn't it? Because even so for us, like those kind of casual staff who come in and they might do turnstiles or stewards, all of those costs are now going to be rising. But clearly, we're in a position where we want to be we want to stand by the supporters who stood by us, and there was obviously a lot of loyalty shown by the supporters in the last 2 years. So we don't necessarily want to go and put our prices up, so we've got to find a way of finding a difference, I guess.
Yeah. Challenging times for all businesses and all business owners at the moment. So that's the end of the budget section.
Would you like radio advertising for £50 a week and a luxury holiday included, a really expensive car, fine wines, a lovely cheese platter, and a couple of our car stickers? Ooh, hang on a minute, that's pushing it with the car stickers. Come to think of it, there's no cheese or platter, and the fine wines have been drunk, the luxury holiday has been taken already, and the car has disappeared. At Hull Kingston Radio, we don't do gimmicky advertising that ends up costing you a small fortune and delivers very little. We have one deal. We do radio advertising for £50 a week. Nothing more, nothing less. Would you like a free website link, a free business interview, free social media links? Now, does that sound like a good deal? For more information, email sales@hullkingstonradio.com or message us on our social media channels.
So, penultimate slot today is a quick one on grassroots sport. I suppose this is an ideal opportunity given that we've got Craig from Hull KR with us to talk about the Hull KR women, who are now under the umbrella of Hull KR. Just want to tell us what the thinking was behind that. How's it going to work? I guess the women are pleased with the change.
Yeah, it's one of those really subtle but important fundamental changes that we believe will be a step change. So the backstory for this is that the women's team at the club was run by the Community Trust, who've done a fantastic job with it to get it where they have in such a short space of time. So we're going to move it from effectively the charity arm of the club to the main club, and people might think, well, what's the difference? It's the same thing. But what that unlocks in real terms is access to better welfare support, better S&C, strength and conditioning staff, and probably just a bit more professionalism, and even from, I guess, my perspective in my role, making sure that we give that team the same treatment that we give the men's first team in terms of the way that we present them. So professional headshots, making sure they've got a profile on the website, and actually we try and grow some of those names in the team to become, household names. Might be a bit strong in the short term, but like certainly household names within Hull KR fans, where they actually know what our captain's called and they know who the try scorer was on Sunday and all that type of stuff. So it's, like I say, it's one of those subtle but significant steps. And we had a meeting with the women's, or the group, a couple of women's teams on Monday night to explain the change, and they're obviously really excited. They were promoted to the Championship last year. The ambition for them is to make them a Super League side, and that might take a couple of years, and there's a big step up from Championship to Super League at that level. But I guess all we're saying to them is we're here to support you, and we're going to put everything behind you to give you the best shot of achieving it.
One of our teams actually in the team, aren't they, Sean?
Yes, Sophie the Flash Holmes.
So is that
I don't know if that's her official. I don't know if that's her official winger nickname, but Sophie's been taken part.
Don't know if you know Craig, but she broke her ankle playing rugby a few months back. She's well on the road to recovery, and I think she's looking forward to getting back to training in the very near future.
Yeah, I think so. She can get in heels now, which is a start, so it's just a step away from heels to studs, I think. So I've heard. That's not experience.
That sounds like the name for an autobiography, doesn't it?
Yeah, heels to studs.
Yeah, maybe. That's it on Grassroots Sport for this week.
360 Chartered Accountants brings you fresh, forward-thinking heroes of accountancy. This week's episode.
Oh, there's not enough hours in the flipping day. No, my accounts and invoicing are stopping me from running my actual business.
Never fear, madam. 360 Chartered Accountants are here. Let us handle this.
Oh, you're good, aren't you?
Thank you. We're known to be great between the spreadsheets.
Yeah, well, don't get too chuffed with you, Sen. Hey, can I get on keeping my customers happy now?
Of course you can, madam.
Good. And next time, use the door instead of the window.
Stay tuned to 360 Chartered Accountants, Albion Street, Hull. Heroes of accountancy. Accounts, tax, solid business advice to help you grow. Call Hull 427-360 or visit 360accountants.co.uk.
The final slot today is Sean's Grumble of the Month. I think last month you had a beef about the price of Doc Martin boots.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm wearing Docs now. What was? Remind me.
Back when I bought my first pair of Docs in the 80-somethings, it was about 25-30 quid. Both of my daughters have liked Docs, so I took a trip to the shops and it wasn't 25 quid, Craig. It was multiples of 25. And I liked them so much that my wife has now bought some as well. The grumble carries on going.
Talking of inflation.
Yeah.
Get yourself to York Designer Outlet. That's where I get mine from. They're always half price.
Oh, there you go.
That's a tip.
I wish I'd known that tip when my daughters were buying them. Thank you.
You've made him angry about the Doc Martens.
Yeah, that's just, I'm getting flashbacks now.
So, Colin, what's your grumble this month?
Well, the resonance of today's podcast has been quite forward-thinking, I think. Talking about evolution of crests, rebrands, meta images, forecasting budgets. So what's got me back up this month is ABBA. Why are they coming back? They feel like they've had the time. They should have stayed where they was. They've had the royalties from the monies. They carry on getting royalties from records. People have got memories. Why have they come back? I've heard the song. It sounds like it's in the 70s, and they're doing tour where they're all holograms, what's the point? It's just really revving me up, I'm telling you. Don't give money to ABBA. They've got enough already, and what's the point? That's not everybody's official view. Obviously, that's just mine. But that is my grumble of the week. I just don't understand it.
Well, it's obviously got you very, very emotional about the subject. I assume they're doing it for money, aren't they?
Well, what they've done with all the other money, they probably needed some better financial planning. If any of the ABBA trooper are around or listening, then just give us a shout. I don't understand.
So are they not doing an actual tour? It's a hologram?
My understanding, it's not them. It's they've reimagined the band.
Right. Because what wasn't one of... I thought didn't one of them sort of go into hiding and living on a desert island or something?
Well, I thought they all went in separate ways. So.
I thought the reason they hadn't got back sooner was because they couldn't convince one of them to join the party.
I'm losing the will on this. I don't understand why they're here, what they're doing. I'll just stay in the past. You know, I've got some great memories. I'm sure people have of ABBA. And yeah, did I want to get caught in my mother-in-law's kitchen singing along to Mamma Mia? Yes. But you've had your time. Stay where you are and leave the music to the future. Thank you.
Do you not think it's a good opportunity for the younger fans to experience them for the first time?
No.
Have you ever seen them live?
No.
If you were a fan and had never seen them live, would you like to go and...
Potentially, but they're holograms, so they're not live, are they? So I don't know. Would they want to even come on stage? I don't know. But you know, I just don't understand it. It's just my grumble of the month, and that's it.
What are your thoughts on the subject, Craig?
Well, yeah, it sounds like they're in it for the money. It's just gimme, isn't it? With ABBA.
What's your favourite ABBA song, Sean? It's obviously Mamma Mia if you've been caught.
No, I'm talking the film Mamma Mia. I quite, if you push me...
You got caught singing every song from the film Mamma Mia?
Quite a few, probably better than Pierce Brosnan. So
you don't like ABBA, but you were caught singing...
No, look, 70s ABBA, but, you know, 2020s ABBA, no, stay at home. I don't mind the 70s, 80s ABBA. No, I've got no problem with that. It's the reimagining of ABBA that's just really making me see red.
See, I like ABBA, but the film Mamma Mia, it's got to be one of the worst films ever made.
Whoa,
shocking.
That's controversial.
I mean, what's the start? What's the story? Someone gets married, and they don't know who the dad is, and in the end, they don't really care. It's like a 5-minute story, isn't it? And they dragged it out over an hour and a half just so they could sing a load of songs.
That's Hollywood for you, Andy. I mean, did so well. It made it. They did a sequel as well, didn't they? So you know.
I know.
I've not seen it. I couldn't comment. So.
Oh well, don't.
Yeah.
Take a chance on it, Craig. You might like it.
I'm desperately trying to think of an ABBA gag, but I've gone blank. Where's my phone? I need to Google ABBA songs. Right, so I think that. Sorry you feel so emotional about that, Sean.
Probably get a load of hate mail from Swedophiles then. Hopefully not. Just an opinion.
Not just Swedish people, Sean. They're a global brand, aren't they?
Okay, I'll brace myself to see what comes from this rant.
So I think that brings the number 2 podcast to an end. Thank you for all of your help and assistance and input, Sean. Craig, really appreciate you taking the time out of you. I'm sure you're very busy at the moment with shirt launches, etc. We really appreciate you coming along today and telling us all about the evolution of the crest and the new shirt, etc. Wish you the best of luck for the next 12 months and onwards. And we look forward to joining you for podcast number 3 in a month's time.
Thanks, Andy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Craig. It's been fantastic.
Oh, no, it's been a pleasure to be here, and I don't know if it's too early to say Merry Christmas, but have a good Christmas.
That's good. Next month's grumble.
Yeah. I'd also like to thank Pete Mills and the team at Hull Kingston Radio for lending us the studio as well, because we're not actually sat on the Purple Sofa. That's a bit of a Trades Description Act breach there. We're in the lovely Hull Kingston Radio studio. We've been really well looked after, and I'm sure the podcast will be edited just as professionally as the first one.